Hello everyone, I'm Take, you're you, and it is good to be alive. Welcome back to, we don't do commentary, but we should. We are back here to commentate Saca Mode versus Gelato Gems. If you saw the stream from yesterday, you will know that there were some connection issues that made everything a little bit wacky. We couldn't really get anything done. So today, they are replaying the set. We are starting with Saca Mode at 1 and Gelato Gems at 0. And it looks like, so far, we're good. Sorry, I caught a little off guard, so didn't have time to do much prep, but, my dear friend Sparta is with me. Sparta, how are you doing today?
I'm doing alright. I didn't really see in the contract that I was supposed to be at the commentator's desk tonight. I thought it was all gonna finish last night, but, all I want to say right now, and before I start talking about what's going on the screen right now, because it's just TC Haggle, if I see anyone from Saca Mode or Gelato Gem at MomoCon, y'all owe me lunch or something, because I cut my hangout short to be here, so y'all owe me one.
Well, we here at Takeshi Productions do not endorse this message, but here we go on the Tower Haggle. EJ here in the pencils trying to defend this, trying to break this first check, and it looks like they have a good shot to do so, as it's 3 down on Saca Mode, which leaves Mart looking to defend this, but they already have a decav up here replacing a bubble and being a pain in the butt, as Gelato Gems is cruising quickly and putting just a lot of points on the board here at 1 minute. And Deja Vu, we have the same situation where Mart is looking to defend. They're trying to keep his tower back, but they can't do it. That's a wipeout, as EJ with the pencil is again on that tower. There's not a lot of pushback so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of going the way that I thought it was going to, with the heavy not being able to do much. And hey, guess what? As the game is about to it didn't. As the game is nearing its finality, maybe I'm 3 out of 4. Remember I said sloshing machine? There it is. And there is the game. That was really fast. There wasn't really much to say here. This one was very one-sided. So good job on Gelato Gems, not only for the quick sweep, but managing to stay connected to the game.
True. That's the real win here, that we made it through a game with no connection issues. I feel like yesterday's stream we were waffling around a lot because nothing was happening, and then today was launching straight into it straight away, and that ties us at 1-1. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of pushback. Hopefully that was the wake-up call that Saca Mode needed to get into gear here, look for those picks, find those picks, try and paint everything up so they can really enable their team. Because, yeah, Heavy's in a really good place right now, but if it is 1 Heavy versus 4 angry opponents, that's a tall order. That's hard to swing. We're going to be looking at Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge for game number 3. Sparta, do you think we're going to see any changes in the comp for Gelato Gems?
Not really. I feel like that last game was so dominant that they don't really need to change their strategy. I feel like from a weapon-to-weapon basis, Gelato Gem just kind of has the advantage. They're the T-Tech swapped out for Zimmy, but other than that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of the same thing. Here on the opener, I mean, it's Rainmaker. It's not really you want to get the pop immediately, of course, with the paint and maybe getting the pick if someone's a little bit too courageous. But if I were Gelato Gems here, I'd probably go for a pick, which it's actually Saca Mode that gets the pick. They're 3 down on the side of Gelato Gems. This should be checkpoint. Yeah, with the bubble, yeah, that's gonna guarantee it.
All right, I'm glad we're seeing a game here. Big signs of life from Saca Mode. They have that first check, and they're going to see if they can keep it going. I think sometimes it's easy to burn out and not quite get that momentum, but they've got it down to 42 with Gelato Gems. They've got 2 people on the board. The Sword is trying their best to live, to make something happen here. But I think that's the end of this push, where Luna picks up and they're trading out their Zimmy for the Rainmaker. They're being careful here. They're looking for this ledge, dropping down, so hopefully the blaster does not pick them. But it's not the blaster they should be worried about. It's that Doolies who Dr. Lion on the Stamper takes out really well. And it's just a bit of a bloodbath, a lot of death going on here in that corner. But Saca Mode is able to shut that down, with Mart trying to paint a lot to make sure that sword does not get back in and cause mayhem. So kind of neutralized. We're a minute and a half in on this game, and teams are fighting to see if they can get mid a little under control. I'm not sure who went into flow there, but we got some action that clearly I'm missing. Let's see what the Pencil's up to. They're getting that nasty pick on the Dynamo, and probably gonna pop, but I imagine they're trying to play this careful, because the Tetras on Saca Mode, they have their reef ready, so they're playing defensive, they're posturing to see if they can shut down. And they run that over.
Ooh,
they survive.
what a punish.
And even though they went down, that was a pretty good maneuver right there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what's definitely helping them out here is Scorch is a much better map for Saca Mode's team comp. The Heavy actually has stage geometry they can use to give themselves cover from the Pencil. We're seeing them use that to a full extent. Dynamo is going to be able to protect his podium extremely well. Not much the Rainmaker can do if the Dynamo's alive, which, yep, case in point, Bongus getting the pick on the Rainmaker. Gelato Gems being forced back. Stamper trying to get a pick. A very strange Wave Breaker being tossed out on the side of Saca Mode. I feel like this map has a lot of good spots for Wave Breaker. Considering that there's a Stamper on the enemy team, you probably want to keep that in mind and kind of put them in a much trickier spot. If you just throw it out there, it's gonna get evaporated, but Rainmaker gets reset. Both teams kind of going back to neutral. Saca Mode trying to take mid back, a little slow on the draw, but it looks like they're gonna get top here. Oh, Reach Lighter coming out. Not much they can do there. They're gonna be able to recover because of the cooler, but Saca Mode's getting a lot of ground. Now they control the neutral, and Saca Mode goes 2 down. Yeah, this is pretty much staying. Oh, somebody dies and gets flow save? Question mark? Can we get a replay on that?
There's a lot going on here. I think that speaks to how chaotic the match was, that I was, every person I was going to had either just died. Oh, good job, Splatoon 3, putting a frickin' rock in my way. Nice. Yeah, okay, we're seeing a lot more combat, a lot more dueling going on here. Saca Mode says, we'd like a little bit more on our lead. Can we push this down? Can they get past 30? They cannot. 38 is where that will stay, as Crystal's perched up top here. That's a good spot to just make sure that they're not moving. And I was gonna say, I can't believe they didn't die to the pop. They sure did. And I just want to go back to Drift here with that Reef Slider. I think that was the second really good Reef. Well, and there's a bad Reef, you know? For every 2 good Reefs, you're gonna have a bad Reef. But no, it was really pivotal in disrupting what Gelato Gems was trying to get going here. And I think, if Gelato Gems got the impression that they were going to have an easy set from well, today's first game, total second game, I think they're getting a little bit of a surprise, because Saca Mode is, they're putting their foot down. They're like, we don't want to, with everything that happened yesterday, we want this to be a set. We don't want this to go crazy or anything weird to happen. And we're seeing just a bit of a skirmish in mid. Luna on the Zimmy, they've got their special ready, and they have 15 seconds to do it. So they want to get this check. Yep, there it is. They take out the Tetras, and they're trying to clear some space, because with that Dynamo, with that Heavy, if you don't clear that out, you're kind of toast. EJ is really wanting to get that check here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. They go down, nope. And that's the game.
It. Big Bongus closing that one up for us. Big mighty Dynamo swing. Yeah, I feel like this map definitely favored Saca Mode's team comp a lot more. The verticality, the natural cover on the map allows the Dynamo and the Heavy to more comfortably play into pencil pressure. And yeah, I wasn't really based on how that first game of the night went, I was kind of worried that this might be a little bit of a sell from Saca Mode, but yeah, they definitely showed signs of life there. Good thing that they didn't tilt immediately, I feel like, given the circumstances of this set. Losing the first game of the night that quick on that TC haggle, I was just concerned that they were going to get tilted. Obviously, they're not. They're up 2-1. 3 more and they take this home, and I can go back to eating dinner. Please save me, Saca Mode. Get me out of here.
What do we think changed between the Haggle game and that Scorch game? Because Haggle, I guess maybe it was some of that snowball effect that we see in Splatoon 3, where if a team gets enough momentum and they just keep on the gas, sometimes it can be really hard to make that pivot. Maybe Saca Mode went in all guns blazing, but unfortunately they had grapes in their guns, so it just wasn't happening. They went in, they believed, and then they got steamrolled. Yeah, happy that we didn't see that happen on Scorch. That we had a good game with that back and forth. I think it's really tough especially if you leave that pedestal, that checkpoint, if you leave it for too long. That's a tough one to break down with like 10 seconds left on the clock, because not only do you have to get there and survive long enough through the animation, you have to pop again, you have to grab again, and if you don't get a full wipe on your opponents, that takes time, which you do not have in overtime. So a great second game, or third game. Yeah, my terminology is going to be messed up because we're counting yesterday's game as game 1. So a great third game here. We're going to move to Clam Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy. The first thing I think on this map is Dynamo, which Bongus is playing Dynamo for Saca Mode, and I think after the recent buff for Dynamo, it makes it a lot more threatening with that horizontal flick. It's going to be good to take bats, it's going to be good to just hold presence in mid, it's going to be good to get those sneaky attacks when people are just trying to defend under the clam, and all of a sudden, boom, you're gone. But we see EJ also has a Dynamo. Okay, so our comp here, we've got the dualies, right, on Saca Mode. We've got Heavy and Blaster as well, and then, of course, that Dynamo we were talking about. And what are we seeing for Gelato Gems, Sparta?
We are seeing what looks like Vanilla Mini, the sticker stamp, sloshing machine, and Dynamo. Yeah, I feel like the weapon picks here are solid. It's what you would expect for a map like this. There's a lot of verticality here, a lot of sneaky ways to get picks with those weapons. Kind of surprised to see that they're keeping Mini rather than going back to the shot, or at least E-Tech, because I feel like Ink Strikes are really good on this map, just to kind of force yourself into bats, or to protect yourself from having your bats stolen. It feels like most games on this map are decided by which team are able to keep the opponent's bats and just snowball a game. But as we can see here, because I'm like recovering from almost melting in the sun today, so I'm just kind of trying to get the ink colors set on my mind, but it almost looks like Saca Mode had something going until they just got kind of stonewalled.
Stonewalled indeed. I think I'm still back at the first minute where the two Dynamos met each other for the first time and traded each other. I think that set the pace for the game, where they're like, uh-oh, the Dynamos are out of commission, so now the backlines are painting, keeping their side. Yeah, you can see like that perfect mirror split of Luna and Mart on their Splatling, just trying to gather some clams, keep some paint up. But the difference here is that Mart has 7 clams. They're ready to get in there. They made a ball. They're trying to spread their presence a little bit. They're trying to not die to that hammer for sure. But yeah, Bongus here, taking out the sword. I hit the wrong button. Where's Bongus? There you are, Bongus. Bongus says, if I can get this left stack here, I can start my approach into mid. They get that chip on that guy. Yeah, maybe my brain is fried as well. That guy is as good as you get. And they wanted to see if they could increase that lead any more than 80, and it doesn't look like Saca Mode's getting any more on the board. As EJ says, I can do more than pencil. I've got a Dynamo here that's ready to experience flow state, and they can almost get that Tetras. That's going to be close. Tetras are super weak, trying to roll for their lives. And instead of Tetras, they get the Blaster. There we go. So a little bit of a stalemate. Let's go to that top-down view and see how the map is looking. Kind of similar. A bit of a 50-50 split as Bongus racks up another kill, and they're looking for EJ. They're trying to find where that Dynamo opposition is coming from. But Milk is pushing in, and dang it. Sorry, we're watching Crystal instead. Milk died. Crystal's pushing in. They're looking to score, but I don't know if they have the backup for this. They've got that score in. Dang it. game. There we go. And yeah, they're getting one in there, but there's not going to be any follow-up. They did what kind of my classic approach, where I'm like, watch this, I'm going to start this. It's going to encourage my team boys to get in there, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow up the solo push. And boy, a lot is happening right here. A lot of people going down. It looks like Gelato Gems is going to continue this push as Dr. Lion scores, gets a pick, and keeps it going. They're going to be on the defensive. They don't want to get picked by this Dynamo. They're going to chuck in the Booyah Bomb to the Bats. Maybe they can get the pick on the Blaster if they're really lucky. Blaster survives with a shred of their health, and they've got 6 clams, so they're gonna try and push. They pick one. The machine is now down, but it seems like Gelato Gems is now very aware of where Milk is on this Blaster, and they want to try and shut that down. Fuck.
Yep. You all right there, man?
I swear, I hit down on the stupid thing and it goes to the wrong one. All you commentary people, or I guess all you spec cam people out there, good job. I appreciate what you do. Maybe the key is to not hit down on the thing. You're supposed to hit left or right. Yeah, so there you go. That's for free. It looks like we have everybody in play now, where the Saca Mode is trying to... They're not trying to do shit, they're getting shit done. There's now 2 down on Gelato Gems, and we've got a wacky situation going here. There are 20 seconds left in the game. If Saca Mode is going to get in there and score, Sparta, what do they need to do to make this happen?
They need to, they just need to lock in and not die is what they need to do. It kind of feels this entire game, they haven't really had much of a game plan. It feels like the biggest extent to their play was just kind of force ourselves in and hope it works, and it's not working. Right now, it seems that Gelato is kind of keeping us on lock. Yeah, with 3 down, unless the Reef is able to make something happen here, or the Reef. If the Tetras are able to use Reef to make something happen is what I was trying to say, which they won't be able to. The time is running out at this point. It's pretty much GG.
GG it is. That takes us to a 2-2 situation. We nearly saw the tides shift in favor of Saca Mode on that one, because Drift used their Reef Slider, and it was so close to getting a double, but both the machine, and I'm not sure who was on the left side, but both of them survived barely. I think if those 2 had gone down, it seemed like, I believe, Mart was ready with a clam, so we could have seen a different result there, but not so fast. The Reef did not quite clutch up for that, and that takes us to a 2-2 situation.
Yeah, I feel like there may have been, I guess if you're watching this via the VOD or on YouTube, you can rewind, but I feel like what caused the Reef to whiff there was that they detonated on the slope, so they were like slightly higher up than the other 2. And I know Reef in this game with verticality is very strange. If they were like on a flat surface on the same like level as them, maybe it would have worked. But I mean, again, the past of the past. We're here now. It's 2-2. Honestly, I feel like Saca Mode's biggest problem there was their lack of a real game plan. It kind of felt that like none of their pushes really had any coordination. The one score that they got was kind of like one of those where somebody tries to start something, doesn't quite work out. Gelato got 2 clans. They built 1. They got the pity. At first, it looked like Gelato was kind of flaking around there as well, but they managed to get a push out, and that one push won them the game. So going into splat zones here, I feel like this one is probably a little bit more in favor of Saca Mode. Splatling is pretty good here. A lot of sneaky locations you can put Wave Breaker on. Seems EJ is going back to pencil, which makes sense. It is zones after all, but I feel like for painting zone, I feel like heavy is kind of like the call here. Kind of chaotic, I should say. A chaotic start to this first game. Zone just kind of flipping back and forth. Right now, Gelato has temporarily gained control. They lost control. Guessing Saca Mode's going to take this one here. They're just trying to feel out the other team, trying to make them overcommit and punish, but it kind of feels like they're just trading out here.
I think, Milk is on a hot streak here. They picked up a really good snap on, I'm not sure what weapon, but they have 3 kills to their name, and they're trying to keep that going. They're sharking this ledge, but Crystal on the machine trying to find a way to get them out, smoked out. They throw a Booyah Bomb onto the zone, and I bet you they can get that pick on the Dynamo, unless Bongus says, you thought, I am here, I am awake, I'm putting down Cooler to enable my team, and I think by all the standards and all of the good things, Saca Mode needs this one because the map is called Mako Mart, and they have players by the names of Milk and Mart, which is pretty fucking close. So I think I'm gonna say, just because of the charisma, the spirit bomb going on here, I think this one has to go to Saca Mode. And yeah, they are locking down the zone. They have their timer down to 21, and Gelato Gems is doing everything they can to try and freeze that zone. They're jumping in, they're trying to believe. But Drift, I think Drift locked down that corner. They got 2, I believe. If Gelato Gems wants to make anything happen, they had better move fast, but they are getting shut down at every approach. It is too late. We're trading out games here, Sparta. This is becoming, from yesterday, more action has happened in the last 20 minutes here than what felt like the last 2 hours yesterday. So this is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, you could definitely tell the difference in the way Saca Mode played that out. They knew where to go. They knew how to play their weapons according to the matchup. Heavy was staying out of range of the pencil. Drift on the Tetras was moving around and keeping certain parts of the map locked down. Big Bongus getting really crucial picks under the ledge there. You know, Dynamo just doing Dynamo things. There wasn't really one person on Saca Mode that were like, oh yeah, this person just won the game for their team. No, I feel like they just fired on all cylinders there. And yeah, that one felt completely different from the Clan Blitz game, where it just looked like Saca Mode knew what they wanted to do, how to do it, and Gelato just had no idea how to turn it around. They lost all momentum after that scramble at the beginning. They were just never able to recover.
I think if Gelato Gems wants to stay in this set, which, just a reminder for anybody who may not be aware, LUTI is a best of 5. No. It's first person to win 5. So what is that? Best of...
Best of 9.
Best of 9. Thank you, Sparta. LUTI is the best of 9. So first person to win 5 games takes the set. And if Gelato Gems wants to keep this from being a 4-2 situation, they're going to need to adjust and do a pivot so that the game does not snowball. I think you had said that Saca Mode didn't really have a star player, and while I do agree, I will shout out Milk. Their blaster, I think, really put the fear of God in these squids. I tell you, that triple was really crucial and set the tone for the rest of that match. And now that we're going to TC, please go to TC. Uh-oh, hold on. A moment of silence for the connection. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's starting. All
Very
right,
good.
Averted.
Good.
We have a match. We have a game. Wait. Okay, 4. We have 4 players on the other team.
We do not have 4 players. Oh wait, this time.
No,
Saca Mode says a little bit of a taste of your own medicine. That's crazy.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bongus.
What
Where are you, Bongus?
What we forgot to mention is sometimes connection issues in Splatoon 3 can be contagious, which is what we saw today. It seems like Bongus came down with the sickness from being overexposed to DCs and connection issues yesterday. We're wishing them a speedy recovery, and hopefully it doesn't spread any further. Wash your hands, gamers.
And I mean, I was about to mention that, I don't know, like it kind of feels like for these maps where Dynamo is very strong, it kind of feels like Saca Mode is just 10 times better on these maps, where like on the it definitely feels like Bongus knows where to be on these Dynamo maps. And I know they lost the one on Inkblot, where you also mentioned that Dynamo is really good, but it kind of feels like on these Dynamo adjacent maps, Saca Mode is extremely strong, and Undertow is absolutely one of those maps as well. So, I know, based on that last Zones map on Mako Mart, I don't know. I mean, Saca Mode, from what I can see, is already up there. They're already taking initiative, pushing up. Ooh, Milk going down. Ooh. Unfortunately. Oh, 3 on the side of Saca Mode already going down. Okay, wait, maybe? I don't know. Maybe this matchup is just too chaotic for me to predict. I don't know.
It seems like the only algorithm we have is that it's every other match. It seems like the teams are maybe this is scripted. We paid them. We forgot to say we paid them to make this an interesting set to commentate after yesterday. As far as it goes for Gelato Gems and changes, we're seeing EJ is on the blaster, which so far, Pencil Dynamo and this blaster, that's good for them. They got a little bit of range there. Unfortunately, not good for them. They swam into the bomb, thrown expertly by Milk. Just kidding, it's an auto bomb. But Luna is able to get the pick, the last pick on Saca Mode, and they're continuing to ride this tower in. I haven't even been able to mention that frickin' Dingus over here, Dr. Lion, is going decav, but it's not a good pick because Milk racks up another pick there, hoping and praying they can do something to stop this momentum, because this set so far has been a snowball. It has been who can keep this oppression going the longest. Luna went in for the kill, tried to challenge Milk in the Thunderdome, but that's a tough matchup going... Oh, never mind. So Luna switched to T-Tech. I was thinking in my mind they were still on Zimmy, which I was gonna be like, that's a bold call, but no, that's a little bit more reasonable on T-Tech. Let me put the camera into auto mode, because so far I'm not doing a great job on spec cam. Sparta, what do you think? Is Saca Mode gonna have the beans to keep this push going? They're at 45 already. We've got 3 minutes left on the match, and it is just crazy.
Yeah, I feel like this is the... Oh, did Bongus just get the squish? Oh, no, never mind. I mean, that was a very good counter push on the side of Saca Mode. They were just unable to get that. Or, yeah, they were just barely... Oh, no, they got that checkpoint. This is also one of those maps that's very snowbally. Once you get the tower past that second check, and if the put... You have, like, I would say 5 seconds to stop the push, and once you start getting towards the end, it's extremely hard to stop. I'm not really too sure about that reef. I don't really think they got much value out of it, but I mean the push lives, so I guess mission accomplished for now. I'm not sure. Was that a desperation goal? Not sure. Tri-Strike's coming out to stop the push. Don't really know how I feel about that. Kind of feels like that was maybe fired off a little bit too soon, but I guess Saca Mode's push did get stopped, so again, wrong on me there. Wait, who just got... Oh, Saca Mode going 3 down. Their push looks like it's pretty much over. Mark trying their best to anchor their team and give them a position to go in, but Saca Mode is once again in a staggered state where they respawn, try to make something happen, die, and then rinse and repeat. And Gelato Gems is finally back to where they left off, a couple of meters away from the checkpoint. They are now back at the checkpoint. If they can break this, they pretty much win the game here. Bong is trying to make something happen, being the wall. They managed to get 2. Haven't cleared the tower yet. Checkpoint 3 is gone. That's really bad for the side of Saca Mode, since checkpoint 3 is notorious for being really hard to break and kind of the one that determines the game. But I mean, both teams are so unpredictable that who knows, maybe 30 seconds from now, Saca Mode's gonna get the KO. Try coming out to try to stop the push, but not really sure about that. Bongus coming out, big Bongus getting the 2-for-1 there. I don't know, man. And I'm trying my best to kind of give play-by-plays, but there's so many things happening, so many people getting splatted out of nowhere. It's just kind of hard right now, man.
It's incredibly hard, and I'm trying to focus on the correct action, but it seems like there's little pockets of action happening everywhere, and maybe not necessarily where they should be. We have 30 seconds remaining in this match, but that's a really dangerous place when Luna here on the side of Gelato Gems has Tri-Strikes, because many of us are familiar with the phrase like GG special, right? The Booyah Bomb, the triple ink strikes. It's going to be a special that keeps your opponents from being able to win, and we see Luna, they're just sitting back. They're like, okay, Saca Mode, if you're gonna win, you have to come in here and you have to kill me. And that's gonna be really rough to do, because you gotta push your way past a decav, a blaster, a sloshing machine, and we're not seeing that happen. We're now in overtime. And Saca Mode did not have the ability to get on the tower, much less survive the strikes. So that takes us to a 3-3 situation. And to go back to what we were talking about earlier, of course in LUTI, right? Best of 9, first to 5 games wins. You want to do your best, but 3-3 is a much more comfortable situation to be in than 4-2, because that means if you have one game that just is a total blowout, you're done. It's GG's, that's over. So 3-3 We're sitting even, we're sitting flush. And that's kind of crazy. I think Gelato Gems had the energy, and they really came out the gate with that push. And sometimes, I don't know, it can go one of two ways, where either you burn out, and then you can't defend well, and the other team swings in, or you keep that energy going, but you pivot from, as opposed to oppressive energy, it becomes defensive energy. And you sit back, and you get those picks, and you kind of just let the game play out and run the clock. It seems like that's what Gelato Gems had going on for them on Undertow. Which, my opinion, bit of a stinky map anyways. Let's go to something a little bit more interesting here on Musème d'Alfonsino from Splatoon 1. We're going to be looking at Rainmaker, which Rainmaker I think is a pretty, it's a good one for here because, sure, you can take it over the jump on mid-spinner, that saves you a little bit of time, but with the comps that we've been seeing on both sides, they're pretty balanced. They have those backlines with the long range. They have the pushing power with swords and maybe a little bit of blasting and stuff like that. The tetras. We've got some balance here. So I don't know. As with most of the maps in Splatoon, this could certainly go either way. As far as pivoting, I could see Luna going back to maybe one of the Splatlings as opposed to T-Tech. His strikes aren't quite as valuable on Rainmaker as they are on Tower Control. And then who knows what EJ is going to do, because it seems like they have kind of picked a different weapon almost every game, which, cheers to them. That is not me, that is not my calling nor my role, so that kind of blows my mind. Good for you, EJ. Pick something crazy, pick a GooTuber, impress me, wow me.
And I mean, I guess right before we boot up the next game here, I guess the one observation that I did make is that while Saca Mode was able to kind of come back a little bit in that TC game, I feel like what really hindered their progress is they had none of the GG specials, like no strike, no Booyah Bomb, so it was kind of an uphill battle. And thankfully, there are no real GG specials outside of maybe Kraken if you're good enough for Rainmaker. So who knows? If this matchup is at least a little predictable, and we keep the status quo, is Saca Mode gonna blow this one out? Is this gonna be their snowball? I don't know. They get the pop, so it's already looking good. Hammer throw coming out, nailing poor Bongus here. Saca Mode already going 2 down. Decaf going down somewhere out there. They tried to get the Rainmaker to make something happen, but it was not in the cards. Or was that Gelato that grabbed? I have no idea. Things happened a mile a minute there. Really hard to keep track. Oh, Gelato Gems going 2 down. I don't know if that was solely because of the Rainmaker strike, but this should be the check. Oh, getting stuck. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was really sure that they were going to get the checkpoint there. Oh, Saca Mode getting wiped. This should be the checkpoint here. It's not that far away. Oh, Bong is trying to make something happen here. Yep, Bong is kind of going down, trying to beat that solo warrior. Unfortunately, not going too well. It's not the fault of the stream, but the Discord decided to freeze the thing for me a little bit. Take, can you take over? Well, Discord covers.
Yeah, you got it. We saw a crazy approach from Crystal on that machine. They made a great pivot from being defense warrior 5000 to crazy offense, where they were painting the pedestal, enabling their team, and getting 2 more picks, which it was good to see, because as of yesterday, the most memorable thing about them was their connection seemed to be hot garbage. And today, they're kicking ass, taking names, and getting their team enabled all the way to 1. This is a frightening position for Saca Mode. You need to move that thing, gamers. You need to drop it. You need to lock. You need to get it away, because holy moly, there was someone behind. Wait, what? Luna on the mini is behind, and not only are they behind, they're also in the water. They are now soggy as well, but the decaf is still there. Oh, they've got jumps.
Oh man,
sorry, a peppercorn is out in my throat. Couldn't really tell you what's happening here, but the decav is in flow. They said, we're not quite done with you yet. And I think it really caught Saca Mode off guard, but not off guard enough, because Big Bad Bongus, not only do they live, they also put their cooler down to survive the Rainmaker shot. And can they get that? They're looking to complete their tour, but they can't do it. They trade with Luna, which, I mean, a valuable trade. We see EJ. They're swapping out their blaster for the Rainmaker, going to try and get some picks before zooming in there, but they're met with a Dynamo who is hungry. Dr. Line probably jumping out. That is correct. What a jump. And let's see what kind of a situation Saca Mode can get going. Can they get that check? It looks like they want it, but they got it. They avoid the hammer.
Got it.
Good play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is definitely not the ideal position you want to be in. Gelato Gems basically told him, hey, if you even want to answer this, you just got to knock it out. And I mean, hey, getting the checkpoint is one step closer to that goal. But I mean, it's just, especially, you know, putting the Rainmaker down there, it's just going to be 2 minutes of an uphill struggle here for Saca Mode, and I'm not really sure because the margin for error for Gelato Gem here is very small. They can just do the bare minimum and win this because it feels like their defense is just on point. But as I say this, Saca Mode finding some life here, 2 down on the side of Gelato Gem. Ooh, I don't know if they were getting a little bit too antsy with that. Going down there and losing some time is really unfortunate for Saca Mode. Crystal trying to be really cheeky and grabbing that Rainmaker, but Saca Mode's like, not on our watch, as they're trying to find some space to grab that Rainmaker. Getting spaced out, unfortunately, by Gelato Gem and all of their AoE. That is kind of what the Splatoon meta is right now, just a lot of AoE. Bongus being able to turn a pick into a trade. Or the good version of that, I mean. And right now it's just kind of a battle for mid. And not in that way either, wow.
What does he mean?
What did I mean by that? Give me $5 and I'll let you know. Right now, Saca Mode, you know, they're getting another chance here. Cooler coming out. Honestly, if I was Gelato Gems right now, I would try to... Oh, never mind. It did make something happen. 2 going down on the side of Saca Mode. About to hit overtime with 30 seconds left on the Rainmaker at least. Nope. That's going to end the game. GG's.
They have one shot.
Sure,
it's
right?
going to be real close. Okay. I don't...
Oh, wait. No. Oh.
Yeah, and that's it.
Unfortunate.
Man, they really wanted to do that push. I think to make that work, they would have really needed to take out that blaster first, because I wish I could see the KDs to further give credence to my point, but it seemed like, yeah, for that defense, the blaster locked in, I think it was about maybe 3 minutes in, where they got a kill, where they were not shooting, and I was like, wait, what the heck does this have for a sub? It was Suction Bomb, and so I think they got a nasty pick with that, and sometimes that's what you need, right? You're giving cooler to your team boys, you're painting, you're shooting, you're chucking Suction Bombs, and that defense was a little bit unsurmountable for Saca Mode, so that, for all the talk I did about Gelato Gems not wanting to be in a 4 blank situation, they now find themselves with 4 wins on the board. So Saca Mode, they need to put on the gas and then get this if they want to keep in this set. They've got Clam Blitz on Umami, which I might add, we've been seeing in every other win pattern up until that last one, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is now 2 in a row for Gelato Gems. So, if Saca Mode wants to take the game here on Umami Ruins, I think they need to start on fire. I think they need to not be slow. They need to get as far into the map as they can and try and make their presence known. Because if they play this too slow, and if they sit back for too long, that could be a disaster. I think we need to see drift with those reef sliders. Be patient, be tactical, look for those windows where you can slide up and catch people off guard and pave that way for your team. Reef can obviously be a little bit of a deceitful mistress, where sometimes it goes crazy, and other times, like, somebody's on the step above you and they live, and it's like, well, that was a great time for everybody. So, this is an important game for both teams. Gelato can seal the deal here and have it done, or Saca Mode can bring this out for one more game. I think I could see Dr. Line keeping the decaf for this one to have that bubble, to have the bomb, be able to have that slide for that pressure, but I could also see them going a Stamper, because the options there for Zip or even Booyah Bomb, any of that, those are good displacement tools near the basket as well. Time will tell. Let's see. Oh, a Hydra coming out on Saca Mode. Okay. And for Gelato Gems, yep, the decav, and is that... Oh, it's not double bubble. No. The mini has hammer. I forgore. Whoops.
And yeah, kind of letting... I'm going to let the opening of this Clan Blitz game play out just because I wanted to add one more thing about the story of this matchup. By all intents and purposes, this set should have been over last night. Since a game was played, theoretically, Saca Mode should have walked away with this already. I mean, that's kind of public knowledge here. They already played a game. You can't just reschedule after losing a game. Otherwise, people would immediately call for a reschedule if they feel like they're not ready. So that gentleman's handshake might be biting Saca Mode in the butt right now. They are at a death's door as far as this set is concerned, and their Clan Blitz performance from Inkblot left a lot to be desired. It didn't really feel like they were that coordinated, so this is definitely, I feel, putting a lot of pressure on Saca Mode. Like, not only did you gentlemen something that you really shouldn't have gentlemen, but it all comes down to this Clan Blitz game, and I really hope they prove me wrong here and manage to make something happen, because this is a very unfortunate way to go out.
It's very unfortunate, especially because this decav said, I'm going into flow state, I'm getting a quad, there will be no clams on the map for you. We're gonna... it seems like the decav was the last up, but you can't underestimate that with the bubble, with that range, with how long that slice is. That's a threat to be addressed, and thankfully Saca Mode has addressed said threat. And not only that, they've addressed a couple more, where now Gelato Gems has one more person, EJ, and they're being pursued by Milk, who's actually playing Vanilla Roller. Have fun, Milk. Channel your inner me, and they're in flow state, so hey. Milk wants to get in closer. They're trying to follow up on that reef from Drift. They put the bubble down, and they get two. Can they find that three? Don't get too greedy. Oh, but Crystal shut that down. They're okay. Saca Mode has the first score on the map. It's let's see, we've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, but Crystal again with that killer defense. They shut down that push really quick, which if you're Gelato Gems, that is what you need to happen, because for a minute there that was looking like a lot of force coming in from Saca Mode. I think don't underestimate Crystal for sure. They keep on, it seems like kind of minding their business and painting a little bit, just kind of beep-bopping around the map, and then all of a sudden when they need to turn on, they do. And couldn't tell you what happened here, but Gelato Gems is coming in with a big push. They already have 40 taken off of their score.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure if I agreed with that forced push there from Saca Mode earlier. Because then that just snowballed into this situation. They got 20 points for Gelato Gems got 20 points for free from that pity, and now Gelato just has this insane push. And if things keep going the way they are now, they might be able to just close out the game here. Saca Mode trying to get some kind of foothold here. The barrier goes back up, so now they have some time to breathe. But they might have to win first, breathe later, because they are down pretty bad right now in terms of objective advantage and map advantage. But Bongus taking out the decav there, pretty pivotal pick there, forcing Gelato Gems back into a defensive situation. I mean, Umami, poor Drift getting taken out there before the iframes could activate, but Gelato Gems finally going 3 down. They're trying to make a clam happen, but oh no, that just gives Gelato some time to actually rebuild and rethink. And Saca Mode is once again being forced back. Drift trying to make something happen with this reef, getting nothing, but they managed to take out the decav there. A pretty good pick there, kind of keep the offense alive. Drift, I'm guessing, is trying to get the reef to open up an avenue for some clam scoring. Again, I feel like Saca Mode really isn't all that synced up right now, where they like try to make a play, but there's no follow-up, and then they just slowly start to get pushed back, and that's not what you want when there's only 30 seconds left of your potential final game.
No, it's not what you want. I think they almost had a really good play going. They had all of their ducks in a row with one duck remaining, and that duck was clams. They did not have the clams to make the ball, and so then you can get all the picks in the world, but if you can't score, yeah, you can't do what you need to do. this is, if you're Saca Mode, this is not the position you want to be in 5 seconds left on the map. They do have the pity clam, and so they're going to be going into overtime. And they do take 2 down.
2 down.
3 down on Gelato Gems. If they want to have any
3,
shot here, they need to move immediately. Hopefully there's a bubble.
Ignore the dynamo, or ignore the decaf. Come on, Gigo. Oh. All right, clams open. They're oh no, this is not good on this for Gelato Gems. Gelato Gems once again 2 down. Saca Mode needs clams. Guys, you need to get clams. You need to push. Oh,
they've got it. They've got it. They've got enough.
Trade.
Holy.
They got it. Game 9. Game 9. If you thought we were gonna like leave this set without getting game 9, you were wrong. Wow, Saca Mode just kind of came back to life when they were at death's door. Holy moly.
Death's door indeed. You could not have dragged that out any longer. Literally. That was well, we're packing up our lawn chairs. The Nana has the cooler. We're heading out. And then all of a sudden, they find clams out of nowhere. I wish I had seen who got those picks, because that triple at the end, and I'm not sure if it was a triple, but those 3 kills at the end gave Saca Mode the bravery they needed to do something, to move, to get clams, because if that hadn't happened exactly how it happened, we would be telling you, have a good night, folks. That was incredibly close. Well played, Saca Mode. You nearly whiffed it, but you're still here. You found just enough clams, and that was like Helldivers at the end. All of the fire that was being sent, and I think, I believe it was Milk, who had found those clams and then managed to bring them back in. That was insane. I believe it was Mart who traded out the hammer, and that was pivotal as well, because when you're trying to throw clams into a basket, the last thing you want is a rabid hammer charging straight at your face. So everything aligned just right to take us to game 9, and wow, we couldn't have asked for a more exciting situation there.
Yeah, I mean, like I was kind of giving Saca Mode a little bit of grief over how they were playing the objective, and when Gelato was starting to respawn and Saca Mode just had no clams and like 9 points away from victory, I was having a panic attack. And at the very least with game 9, and now that we're finally here at the end of all things, zones on Humpback, you could not have asked for a better Carbon Dynamo match. Saca Mode immediately getting... Oh, actually, no. Saca Mode going 2 down. Well, both teams going 2 down. Huh, a little bit of a stalemate going on here. Zone still not neutralized? How? Huh. All right, Milk getting a really good pick off there. Oh, unfortunately unable to finish off EJ.
Oh!
Is this going to finally... Oh, the triple. The delayed triple? Finally, I was actually starting to get a little concerned on why the zone was to be flipped there, but they finally managed to push into Saca Mode's spawn, trying to keep them locked in there. That's typically the road to success, but oh, Milk seeing through the lies of the Booyah Bomb, getting the pick. Wow, what a slugfest to end this set.
Yeah, this has been an insane first minute. I wanted to talk about the differences in comp, namely how Dr. Lion has a sword and Milk is on the Carbon, but I couldn't even do so because, yeah, it seemed like a tremendous opener from Saca Mode. They got their timer almost all the way down to 50, but now the opposite is happening, where it seemed like EJ on that Dynamo was furious. They were like, okay, we are going in, we're making something crazy happen, we're taking this, and it's back and forth yet again, where Saca Mode, they've got the zone, they're burning down their penalty. They have about 10 seconds until they start making progress on that again. But a Dynamo versus a Hammer, that is a weird situation to be. And it looks like Dr. Lion gets that pick, and they are... the speed here, when they get their picks and they neutralize the zone, they have people moving on that jump immediately. But you can't be moving too quick on that jump when there is a hungry Carbon waiting to smoke your ass, and smoke your ass they did. They've got a Zuka ready. I'm feeling a pick here. This is going to be something beautiful. Watch this. Come on, Milk. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. Not quite, not quite. No, sent the Zuka shot at the torpedo. You'll get him next time.
Yeah, right now, yep. I mean, what a bombastic final battle indeed. Gelato being forced to jump back to spawn and regroup since they're about to lose lead here, unable to. They finally neutralize the zone, but they're just unable to make it happen. Oh, yep, they lost the lead. Sorry, Discord is kind of freaking out with how much is happening right now. Yeah, actually, yeah, take over right now while Discord tries to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, with their dying breath, Saca Mode got the lead there. They put everything in there, and as soon as they got lead, went 2 down. Yeah, at this point, there are 2 minutes left on the game. It seems like, let's take a look at the top down here. Gelato Gems, they're rushing back in to try and meet this threat that is Saca Mode now. Saca Mode is realizing how important this game is. They are taking these fights, but Dr. Lion with the hammer takes down Drift, and they're looking to get Mart as well. They pivot. Maybe they can get one here, but that's a Carbon. You got to be careful. Carbon jumped out, I believe. I think they were cooler. It happened so fast. And yeah, that's a shift there. Gelato Gems, they now have the zone. They're taken down by Milk here. Milk and Mart are so close in terms of names. I keep on not being quite sure, but they don't quite get the pick here. Luna is able to keep themselves alive as well as their teammate, which is going to make a huge difference as they get through their penalty. And I would babysit the zone if I were you. You gotta babysit that zone. They go down. Not quite. They kind of announced their position to Mart, and Mart said, I win these, but they do not keep the zone. A lot is happening here. The Reef Slider comes out. They do flip the zone again, but now Saca Mode has a little bit more work to do. They need to burn through 20 points, but it's hard to do that when you go 2 down. EJ is with this Dynamo. They're in flow state. They racked up those kills. You need to be careful to keep your spacing so you don't get double taken out. There's a better way to say that, but I couldn't be bothered. That's 3 down on Saca Mode. What is our dear Carbon going to do? They need to think fast, maybe get some Zuka to be able to do something pivotal here. They're watching the jump. They want to make sure that nobody gets in here, but somebody's got to go. Drift is all alone, tries to get into the zone, but that is a tall order when, ooh, the left flank, the Dynamo's going around. They haven't done that all game. This could very well seal the deal and take the feet out of Saca Mode, but I say that, thankfully Saca Mode, or thankfully for Saca Mode, they got 2 kills, but then they go 2 down. If they want to stay in this, they need to get some picks immediately, but Crystal said, I don't think so. Gets a double, gets into flow state, and unless something changes immediately, that is our game.
Oh, man. Yep, and with that, this set is over, and the winner of Gelato Gem. Now, controversy aside, I feel like at the very least, we got a very good set out of this. It was extremely back and forth in the most entertaining way possible. Just blowout after blowout. Normally, one-sided games are really boring to watch, or one-sided games are boring to watch, but when both teams are doing it to each other, I feel like that's just good Splatoon, man. Nobody wants to see teams just kind of chipping away at each other for 5 minutes. I think at least it was a good performance from both teams. Thankfully, no wonky connection stuff happened tonight outside of the one DC.
It was good Splatoon. We saw a lot of back and forth. We saw a lot of good plays. As far as how the match went out, I would say the only thing that I would like to say is, as you're playing LUTI or really any tournament, if you ever have a question on how something should go, consult help desk first before making any handshakes or promises. Obviously, we don't give legal advice here on the Take channel, so always consult help desk and see what is right for your situation. Aside from that, yeah, that was a really good set. Thank you so much to both Saca Mode and Gelato Gems for letting us jump in here and spectate with you. I wish maybe I should figure out how to do like a highlight situation, so at the end I can be like, and now here are the top 2 highlights from our LUTI set. I think one that stood out to me was, I mean, of course, the umami clams. That was bonkers. That was really cool to see. It's always hype when you have those comebacks. And then another one for me was when Mart, I believe, no, Milk on the blaster got that triple that really filled the team with boldness. I think it was was it Undertow? At this point, it's all bleeding together. I'm old and senile. Apologies, but. GG's is what I'm trying to say to both teams. Yeah, and Sparta, thank you so much for joining for some commentary.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. And that being said, I mean, I'm being serious. If any of you from Saca Mode or Gelato, if you see me, if I see you, at MomoCon later this year, you owe me lunch.
Everybody, if you don't have your
Making
Ethernet
me
cables,
commentate.
grab those, get them on standby.
Making me commentate for 2 nights in a row. I was at a Chinese New Year's festival with my friends, and I came back early to commentate a day 2. It shouldn't have been a day 2.
This guy. Well then, on that as well, if anybody who watched in this far, if you're playing in LUTI, or you know anybody who is, if you would like for your sets to be commentated by yours truly, please reach out. My Discord is, I think it's probably the same as my YouTube, Take7013, or you can reach out on YouTube, of course. Yeah, and if you'd like us to jump in, we love doing this. It's a lot of fun for us, and you know the experience is good as well. Yeah, apparently our requisite is have Ethernet cables, be wired.
Yeah, and like actual real closing thoughts. Good job to both teams. Despite all the wonkiness, you know, you guys put on a really good show for Saca Mode. You know, hopefully don't take this loss too hard. It's just the beginning. I have full confidence that if you guys lock in, you can still make it far. Good luck to Gelato Gems. Really good win here tonight. Good luck on the rest of your LUTI run.
All that's left is to sign off. I've been Take. You've been you. Till next time.
Later.